Hello students, now we are going to continue with the same lesson biodiversity and we'll move on further. Now we are going to talk about loss of biodiversity. When I talk about loss of biodiversity, what am I meaning? What does that mean actually? A number of species of plants and animals are going to extinct. Many species have been extinct. Different factors are responsible for extinction of various species like habitat loss and fragmentation, disturbance and degradation, pollution, introduction of exotic species, intensive agriculture, forestry, overexploitation of natural resources. Now, when we talk about this, what are the causes of biodiversity? Because of various reasons, there could be major causes. We'll discuss that also. So, when we talk about here, where the loss is concerned, we have to understand that what harm is it going to do, as in more than benefits. So, loss of biodiversity is somewhere a blunder which we'll be doing, and we need to take steps to protect it. Habitat loss and fragmentation. Now, increasing population is leading to urbanization and industrialization. We all know that if there are certain settlements which are taking place in certain particular areas, states, countries, due to better standard of living, better progress, better job opportunities, definitely these two things are the main reasons: urbanization and industrialization, which require more land every year. So when you require land, why do you require land? For various reasons: construction purposes, for commercial purposes, for expansion purposes. There is destruction of natural habitat through filling of wetland. You're going to cut trees, deforestation is going to happen, plowing of grasslands because wants will be more, burning of forests will take place, again due to our desires, demands, wants, or the supply needed to fulfill that supply, all of that reason. There is destruction of natural habitat through filling of wetlands, cutting tree, plowing grassland, and burning forest. Now, this is most important cause which is driving animals and plants to extinction. Here, when you talk about this, the example could be the habitat loss which comes from tropical rainforests. They are being destroyed very fast, and among them is 1,000 more hectares of rainforest have been lost. When we talk about rainforest, the Amazon rainforest, which we call the lungs of the planet, we all know that the Amazon rainforest, which we call as the lungs of the planet, harboring probably millions of species, means it has millions of species have been cut and cleared for cultivating soya beans or conversion to grasslands for raising beef, cattle. So this is one big example which has caused a lot of biodiversity loss. Besides total loss, the degradation of many habitats by pollution also threatens the survival of many species. When large habitats are broken up into small fragments due to various human activities, mammals and birds requiring large territories and certain animals with migratory habits are badly affected, which leads to population decline. Disturbance and degradation. Now, when there is natural disturbance, what do you mean by natural disturbance? There are two kinds of disturbances: natural disturbance and man-made disturbance. Natural are the natural calamities: flood, earthquake, forest fire, pest infestation like coast attack. Man-made: cutting of trees, accumulation of pollution which leads to degradation of habitat and loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity is sensitive to both pollution and destructive fishing practices such as drift, net fishing, frank overfishing of the world's oceans. Now, one of the major causes which I discussed was habitat change. Second is the overpopulation. Now, humans have always depended on nature for food and shelter. But when the need turns to greed, it becomes overexploitation of natural resources. Many species have extinct in the last 500 years. Have you ever heard of Steller's sea cow or passenger pigeon? They've become extinct. Presently, many marine fish population around the world are harvested, which are endangering the continued existence of some commercially important species. So this is the second cause, overexploitation, which is the third cause of biodiversity loss, that is the alien species invasions. When alien species are introduced unintentionally or deliberately for whatever purpose, some of them turn invasive and cause decline or extinction of indigenous species. Here, the Nile perch introduced into Lake Victoria in East Africa led eventually to the extinction of an ecologically unique assemblage of more than 200 species of fish in the lake. The recent illegal introduction of the African catfish, Clarias grapinus, for aquaculture purposes is posing a threat to indigenous catfishes in our rivers. Coextinction. Coextinctions, when a species becomes extinct, the plant and animal species associated with an obligatory way also become extinct. When a host fish species become extinct, its unique assemblage of parasites also meets the same fate. The fifth one is climate change. Now, this is the most important thing what you have to think about. Climate change. If you observe the recent changes in climate, especially warmer regional temperatures, have already had significant impacts on biodiversity and ecosystems, including climate change in species distributions, population sizes, the reproduction, the migration events which take place, migratory birds and animals, which hibernation, all of that. And this has increased in the frequency of pest and disease outbreaks. We all know we are suffering today. By the end of 21st century, climate change and its impacts are likely to dominate direct driver of biodiversity loss and changes in the ecosystem globally. The global warming, greenhouse effect, what are the benefits, what are the advantages, all of that is something what we need to be very serious about. The last one is pollution, which is a cause of biodiversity. When we talk about pollution, basically there can be different kinds of pollution: air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, radioactive pollution, students, land pollution. All of these play a very important role in the cause of or loss of biodiversity. Selective forestry. Due to profit motive, as I said, commercial value, due to profit motive, there is tendency to grow economically lucrative tree for economic benefit: sal, teak, eucalyptus. Now when certain people have this when they make furniture, so when you have this wood, it's made specially from these woods, it has lot of commercial value and lot of profit can be earned through these trees, lucrative trees. Due to this tendency, other species are driven away from the area. As we all know, forests are being cut because of various reasons. So one of them is also having wood for various other reasons, and this is how we are, this is how it is affecting the climate change. Overexploitation, what did I mean again? Due to overexploitation of natural resources, all the resources which are available to us, sometime many species become endangered and vulnerable, which may extinct in near future. Imagine if you cut all the trees, which is really deserted with which is deserted with forests, which is deserted like a forest with trees, and all of a sudden they are cut. There is deforestation. It becomes barren land. Why will the species and how will any kind of species survive on that barren land? So it is over exploitation. Intensive agriculture. The different types of agriculture, students, you all have learned. Grassland, forests and wetland are destroyed to make way for cultivation of land. Destruction of biodiversity mainly caused by excessive use of chemical fertilizer and pesticides. Application of hybrid varieties of plants which are genetically modified that result lots of traditional varieties. Poaching. Trade pay large amount of money to poachers. We all know these smugglers, tusks of elephants, skin of lions, tigers. Trade for live specimen, furs, hides. You all are well aware that in as commercial value, you will see these famous brands. I would not be naming any of those, but these famous brands in the world who sell these jackets and leather bags and tusks of elephants, they are through these poachers and smugglers who provide a lot of this availability of these kind of animal skins through which these brands also run upon. Although strict laws have been made, yet these products are widely traded. Extinction of species. Extinction means total elimination or dying out of species from Earth. Some organisms are more susceptible than others to extinction. Some species are prone to dying due to drastic environmental changes or population characteristics. Following species may be extinct due to increasing monoculture. What do you mean by this? Growing only one kind of crop also leads to extinction of various species. Instead of practicing monoculture, that is one crop, we should promote mixed farming, intercropping, crop rotation, mixed cropping. We are well aware of these terms. Introduction of exotic or foreign species. Sometimes foreign or alien species are introduced on land for economic gain. They gain ground and drive away the local species. Now, if you talk about certain species, like suppose take for example dogs and cats, there are so many breeds in dogs. The husky, or there are certain dogs which have to be there in cold climates. We don't adopt stray dogs, we don't adopt stray animals, certain stray animals which are really less harmful, or they are not harmful at all, but we go in for these breeds wherein it adds status value to us, and it makes us satisfied that we have something which is from a foreign or an exotic location. Pollution, as I said, when I spoke about pollution, I spoke about there were excessive use of pesticides. We throw a lot of pesticides or spray a lot of pesticides, insecticides, weedicides to increase the production of crops, and this pollutes the water, which prove harmful to certain species. Runoff fertilizer may lead to eutrophication. Air pollution, soil pollution, water pollution also cause deleterious impact on various species of flora and fauna. As I said, diseases, pathogens may attack certain species and destroy entire population. The incidence of disease in wild species is on rise due to human activities. Following species may be extinct due to large body size, elephants, rhinoceros, and the post-dinosaur. Small population, the blue whales, we are very well aware of, giant pandas, no more. Yes, in India, we are well aware of Bengal tigers, higher status of trophical value, bold-headed eagle. Fixed migratory route and habitat. Some birds have fixed migratory route. Any disturbing route may lead to extinction. We are aware of this. There are many migratory birds which migrate. The Arctic tern, we are aware of this bird. Example, whooping crane also. Narrow range distribution or small geographical range. Lack of genetic variability. Endangered species. Who are these? These are species whose number has been reduced alarmingly. Their habitat has been reduced drastically. Bengal tiger, and they are immediate danger of extinction. Vulnerable, these are the species that are under constant threat and may become endangered if some condition persists. So there are these three types of species and three levels which have to be looked into. Rare species, they are species which are at risk of danger, but these are not endangered species. They are not, they may scatter thinly over an extensive range. They may scatter, spread out. Threatened species, any species which falls any of the above three categories is known as threatened species. Some species that have been put under the category of endangered are the mammals. The black buck case we are very well aware in Rajasthan, in some particular place. Asiatic lion, Bengal tiger, dolphins. You go to these dolphin parks and you have these dolphin shows. They are not for all this. The red panda, the red fox, you not even have heard of these now. Indian peafowl, mute swan, eastern crane, monal, great Indian bustard. You'll just see the pictures, but they are all threatened. Peacock pheasant, black eagle vulture, then the reptiles, that is the marsh crocodile, monitor lizard, trunk turtle, amphibians such as the Indian salamander and viviparous foos. So all this, I have given a lot of detail about different species which are threatened, the classification or the difference between endangered, vulnerable and rare species. So this all you all can use it to expand your long question answers, and it will help you all in understanding what exactly biodiversity as a concept is. It is a vast concept like ecosystem itself, but we need to know how to value its importance, and where our answering these questions is concerned, how do we expand these answers through these slides. Conservation of biodiversity. Now, when I talk about conservation of biodiversity is one of the most important challenges faced by environmentalists today. Steps for protection of biodiversity have been taken at national and state level. At a total overall level in India or state-wise also, there are certain laws which have been passed by governments. There are NGOs which have come. As I told you, PETA is one organization which fights for animal rights. There are n number of projects which the government has taken over at an NGO and institutional level to protect and enhance biodiversity, and at the same time to satisfy the need of people for natural resources is a daunting task. It is necessary to maintain a balance between utilization of natural resource and conservation of natural resources. Now, when I talk about conservation means judicious use, proper use, fair use of natural resources, so that not only our present generation but future generation will also meet their needs. Conservation means most efficient and most benefit utilization of natural resources. There is a very well-known term right now which is quite often used where conservation is concerned, is sustainable development. Now, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development, it may be defined that meets the need of present generation without compromising the ability of the future generation. Means our needs are also satisfied, keeping in mind that the future generations' life or their being is not hindered. It implies natural resources management that is economically viable in short run but environmentally sustainable in the long run. It emphasizes rational utilization of natural resources and conservation practices through identification of problem area that require alternative management practices. Now, before I go to the types of conservation, let's understand this. What are the effects of loss of biodiversity? It can have monetary implication. When I talk about monetary implication, The economic cost of biodiversity around the world tops the list. We will have to pay for costs of pollination, irrigation, soil reclamation, and other functions. So there is a cost which comes with it if nature is unable to take care of them. So this can increase the monetary implication because of the lost biodiversity. The second effect of loss of biodiversity, what can happen? It is threat to the existing species. The introduction of new species, as I spoke, and at an elaborate and very uh, detailed way, I have spoken about the species part of it. When natives are pushed out because of imported foreign breeds of cattle, the effect of this is the narrowing of the world's livestock population. They are also becoming more susceptible to diseases, drought, and changes in climate. The third effect of loss of biodiversity. The third effect of loss of biodiversity is the increased contact with diseases. The loss of biodiversity has two effects on human health and the spread of diseases. It increases the count of animals carrying these diseases in local populations. As habitats reduce in size, these animals become common, wining out the species that do not generally transmit disease. The fourth effect of loss of biodiversity, the what will be the effect of that? There will be more unpredictable weather, that I told you all is climate change. Indeed, unreasonable weather and extreme weather is a huge problem which leads to destruction and displacement. Research has shown that loss of species causes more unpredictable weather. Now, here when I talk about it as if you think of the food chain, there is a food chain which is running in order. That food chain will get disturbed because each animal species or plant species is dependent on one another, or they are interacting with one another in the physical environment on planet Earth. So this can get disturbed. We as humans can get affected because we are dependent on this biodiversity, which is made up of millions and zillions of plants and animal species. So humans are always affected by the downfall of the ecosystem surrounding them. The sixth one is losing sight of nature. As I said, when we spoke about value of diversity, I spoke about aesthetical value, beautification, cultural, social, all of that. When I spoke about that, it comes under aesthetics. The world of nature, the worth of nature to humanity is far beyond the utility of it. The physical deflation of nature certainly does affect humans. People always tend to find solace, that is peace, in nature, as it provides a recreation spot for us to take a break from our busy lives. You have seen nowadays we go for a lot of stay vacations or staycations in places which are very famous for the beauty, the serenity, and the peacefulness of that place. And we have a lot, India is known for a lot of places in the world because of this quality where it has nature in abundance. But loss of biodiversity threatens to take away the value that man finds in nature. Now, when you go for short vacations, all of a sudden, when you've gone for this vacation somewhere in a peaceful place, uh, just away from the hustle bustle of city lives, when you come out rejuvenated, refreshed. That's what nature does to you, students, and that's how what we give back to nature. We have to think in those terms, what we give back to nature. So what how can we give back to nature is through the actions wherein preserving and conserving is concerned. So conservation is in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. In situ conservation means the conservation of the species in its natural ecosystem. In order to promote in situ conservation, protected areas have been developed like national parks. Kaziranga National Park we have many other national parks which are there. There are bird sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. We know about certain the Western Ghats, which is very well known in the belt, coastal belt or Konkan belt of Maharashtra. So these are all protected and preserved. Their construction is not possible over there. So this is basically in situ conservation, means the conservation of the species in its natural ecosystem. National park. It is habitat oriented. When I said it has been developed for the conservation of habitat of particular species. There are many national parks in and around the world. In South Africa, especially, if you all see, there are best of best national parks in Kenya and all of that, where they value animals, plants, species. Activities like forestry, grazing, and cultivation are not permitted. No private ownership of land is allowed. Nobody on earth can own a private land over there. No construction is allowed. No deforestation is allowed. No grazing pastures are allowed. No cultivation is permitted. National parks are usually devoted to habitat and betterment of particular wild species like tiger and lion. In India also, tigers have been protected that way through project of tigers on Project Tigers. Limit human activities is allowed in buffer zone, but no biotic interference is tolerated. You are not going to play with the biotic components in any which way, and that can be punishable offense. Sanctuaries. Now this is more generally species oriented, as for Great Indian Bustard and pitcher plant. Human activities like collection of fuel, fodder, litter are allowed, but they should not interfere with the life of animals. Biosphere reserve. These are the hotspots. There are certain hotspots which I told you. Now, where are the biosphere reserves? Biosphere programs have been launched under the MAB, Man and Biosphere Reserve Program, in 1971. It is ecosystem oriented, protection of ecosystem, basically whatever is there in the ecosystem. It is a special category of protected area of land devoted to totally of all terms of life. Now this can be divided into three categories: core zone, buffer zone. Core zone, when I talk about, this area is legally protected and remains undisturbed. Core is the main core zone. It can be used. Buffer zone is what? It can be used as educational activities, for educational activities and research. The third zone is transition zone. So when I'm talking about these three zones, basically they come under the biosphere reserve. Transition zone. Here is active cooperation between the reserve manager and the local inhabitant. All kind of activities can take place here, provided that they do not disturb the harmony of the biosphere. Which are the biosphere reserves of India? Go through this. Nilgiris, Silent Valley and Siruvani Hills. It's in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. The Nanda Devi, this is a part of Chamoli, Pittorgarh, Almora district. It's in Uttaranchal. Nokrek, this is part of Gora Hills. That's in Meghalaya. Manas, Assam. Gul of Mannar, it is between India and Sri Lanka. If you look at the maps, you will come to know about all these. Tamil Nadu, Great Nicobar. Similipal, Orissa. Dibru-Saikhowa, Arunachal Pradesh. Dehang Debang, Madhya Pradesh. Pachmari, Madhya Pradesh. These are biodiversity reserves. Okay. Kanchenjunga, Sikkim. Ex situ conservation. Now I spoke of in situ. Ex situ conservation. Conservation, which is of two types, is the last one. Conservation of the species from outside their natural habitat. In other words, it is conservation in captivity under human care. Means they are taken captive, but which is under human care. They are not abused. Conservation, I repeat, ex situ conservation means conservation of the species from outside their natural habitat. In other words, it is conservation in captivity under human care. The endangered species of animals are collected and bred under controlled conditions in zoo or farms or in aquariums. Plant species are kept in botanical gardens. So there are special arrangements made to take care of animals and plants. and they are under human care. So here I have completed the lesson biodiversity, how it is conserved, why it should be conserved, what are the effects of loss of biodiversity. We discussed about the loss of biodiversity in detail. So all of this covers the chapter of biodiversity. Thank you. These are the botanical gardens, zoological gardens, seed bank and pollen storages which are there, which come under the ex situ conservations. Thank you, class.